In this video, we're going to be looking at how pressure affects a schizoid experience, and in particular, schizoid functioning. In this series, we've been looking at schizoid internal safety and what it means to us, and this is related to pacing and the ability to maintain internal coherence. In schizoid functioning, internal safety is required for clear and stable functioning, and this depends on clarity and us being able to adhere to our autonomy and our inward reference. So this often means that our thoughts are developed internally before being expressed, and engagement with the external world works best when we have time to process and respond in alignment with our internal pacing and our autonomy. This slide looks at what happens when those conditions are not met. So pressure can be applied in circumstances that exceed our pacing or pressure us to respond in ways that are out of alignment with our inward orientation. What we'll do is we're gonna look at each box individually, starting with the yellow box, and I'll add a little more context as we go so that we can really build a picture of how this all works. So when pacing becomes pressured, responses are expected before readiness, internal timing is overridden, and pressure builds with fast interactions. So what this means is that because, as I mentioned, we have a need to fully form our thoughts before speaking, when responses are expected from us too quickly, this can interrupt our internal sequence. So it can feel like we're being asked to answer before fully knowing what we think, and responses may come out incomplete or misaligned because of that. And when we got time to respond at our own pace, then we can really take time to fully form our thoughts without any external pressures to respond. I've mentioned before that in schizoid thinking, because many of us engage in intellectualization and abstract thought, our thought can run into a lot of depth. And also we can think in terms of symbolic representations and metaphors. And so in that way, our thought process can be a lot more complex. And this is a reason for why we may take longer to form our thoughts. It's not because of a lack of intelligence or anything like that. It's just a different way of processing information and coming to conclusions. So we'll go over to the green box now, and this is about how input can build beyond capacity. So when input accumulates without processing time, this can create pressure, thoughts can begin to overlap, and processing can become crowded. So what this means is that when input exceeds our capacity, that means incoming information, it could be coming from social interactions, sometimes it could be from heavy social environments that we're not even necessarily engaging in, but just might be above our sensory threshold. It creates a lack of space within our mind, because our internal focus is being pressured to turn outward instead of in alignment with our own internal reference and pacing. So ongoing conversations can add new input without a pause. So if conversations are going at a certain speed, it's like we might find that we have to track multiple different streams of thought at once, track our own thought process and then also the other person's thought process. And this can feel like trying to think clearly while being continuously interrupted. So we're trying to maintain our own stream of thought, and information from the outside world can cause an interruption to the thought process that we're already engaged in before that has finished. So our internal load can increase as a consequence of this, and it's like what we really need is to have space in between interactions so it can allow our thought process to catch up and organize. Some of you may find that you can, that on reflection, like you may be in a social situation and thoughts may not be running as usual, like you might not be processing and judgment in the same way. And then afterwards, like what I find that afterwards on reflection, I can learn a lot, like post interaction, because then I have the space to run through my thoughts without interruption and fully process what I've been through or what I've experienced. So that's how we may be pressured in social conversations. Now we're going to go over to the purple box. Internal reference shift. Attention is pulled outward by input. Internal direction is harder to hold, and orientation shifts from from our internal baseline. So more context on that is that our internal reference is overridden when external demands take priority. And so this is linked to what I said before. I jumped ahead a little bit, that our internal direction is turned towards external expectation. There can be pressure to follow the conversation rather than our own thinking. It can feel like losing your place internally while trying to stay engaged, and over time it can be harder to align with our own perspective. So stable interactions allow room to remain connected to our internal reference. I think the important point to make here as well is that in the literature, there's reference to schizoids adopting like other people's views and opinions and being like passively influenced to align with other people. The truth is that's not a genuine adoption. What it is that sometimes we have to sacrifice our own internal thought process in order to align with others during interaction. So it can seem like we're being really agreeable, like that we believe the same thoughts and feelings as they are, but really it's just a very sort of aligned following without interjecting our own thoughts in as well, because maybe we don't have full time to flesh out our thoughts and to generate our thoughts in real time. So it's easier for conversations just to kind of go along, and just take it in, rather than trying to process two streams of thought at the same time, especially as our thoughts may not fully process in the moment in that way. There's more to that, but I'm just touching on that just a little bit to give context to how that goes. So then now we're going to go over to the blue box. Clarity is harder to maintain. Thinking can become harder to follow. Meaning can become harder to form in real time. And early disruption signals appear. So this means that when we fall under pressure because of perhaps disruption to our internal pacing or overload of information from the external world, thoughts may start to lose their continuality before they've completed. So that just means a stream of thought isn't going to get completed. That was linked again to what I just said. So meaning can become harder to form in real time. Also linked to why we might process after events and gain meaning and understanding after interactions rather than at the same time that we're experiencing it. This can feel sometimes like we know we have something to say, but not being able to access it. So it can kind of feel like your mind kind of goes kind of blank. In some ways it just depends on the individual, but from what I've experienced, there's definitely a holding back of my own thoughts in order to process what's going on externally, especially if those thoughts require in the moment processing. If they're already preformed or it's something that like I've already experienced before, you can pull them out. But when it's really linked to spontaneous in the moment thought generation, that's where there can be the most difference. So our internal organization becomes less stable under pressure, and this can mean that we actually need to remove ourselves and become not socially isolated, but we may become more withdrawn and remain where we are, or we may actually need to physically remove ourselves from situations so that we can recalibrate and to stem the input of external information, so we can just have a pause and catch up a bit with ourselves and with our own internal reference. Now we go over to the pink box now. Distance is engaged. So distancing maintained as baseline, intensifies under pressure, and acts as self-preservation. So what this means is that for some of us, especially primary schizoids, we are more in the position of distance or withdrawal as a standard position. Some schizoid individuals tend to engage in distance when needing it. Distance is important to maintain internal stability. It can involve pausing, stepping back, or just reducing interaction. In some cases, physical distance might be needed, as I mentioned earlier, and if it's applied early, like as a preventative measure, then stability can be maintained. I think an important point to make before I get onto the last part of the video is that sometimes we experience something called interpretive intrusion, which can create pressure on our thought process as well. And this means that other people might try to define and interpret our experience while we're still processing it. So that means that they might interject and like suggest like what you're doing or what you're saying when that's not exactly what's happening, because you haven't finished or you haven't expressed it. They can project onto you because it's a way of trying to keep the conversation going, to make observations, but because they don't really know what's going on internally within your mind, they can be getting you wrong. So then you have to process, well, they're putting out information that is incorrect and misaligned with your internal self, and that can be additional information that you may have to process, as well as processing your own thoughts and also processing other things that are going on around you. So this can really put a lot of pressure on our ability to maintain our steadiness and our inner coherence while all these different factors are going on at the same time, and it requires management, and distance is one way in which we manage that. So if we look at the strip at the bottom of the screen, it says internal clarity, increasing pressure, distance regulation, stability maintained. So disruption develops through changes in interaction conditions, and our pacing becomes pressured as input increases. Our internal reference may become harder to maintain, and clarity reduces as pressure builds, and so therefore distance is needed to maintain our regulation, and this enables us to stay stable. In relation to internal safety determines whether interaction remains workable. When conditions support our processing, engagement can continue, but when they don't, distance becomes necessary to maintain stability. So the bottom line is that misunderstanding occurs when reduced engagement is misread by people. It could be seen as disinterest, and the issue is not about social avoidance, but it's about maintaining our internal organization. And interactions work best when they allow time, space, and internal alignment. This is why perhaps some schizoids find it easier to interact like online, like through messaging, rather than telephone calls, which can require a lot of spontaneity, and we don't have the ability to read the signals of the person around us to get contacts from that, though we can get it from what we hear. And so I think you get the gist of it, that pressure threatens, well, not threatens, it does threaten, pressure threatens our sense of clarity and coherence, and distance is used to maintain our stability and coherence. And that's how we can balance ourselves out and remain stable internally, and how we can continue to function internally. Okay, well, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.